A heat wave is breaking records across the nation this morning. Parts of the Midwest and East are hitting triple-digit temperatures, and the National Weather Service put states from Arkansas to Maine under heat advisories. So taking a look at those in effect right now, that entire orange area, that is under a heat advisory. And then that pink section over there, that's under an extreme heat advisory. Meteorologists are telling us that this is being caused by a heat dome, and they say pressure is trapping hot air close to the ground instead of letting it rise. Well, the temperatures in the 90s and the low 100s might seem manageable for us here in Texas, because one thing we know how to do is handle some heat. But some areas, that's more than 20 degrees above average. Looking forward today, the National Weather Service is warning of life-threatening conditions already. Power outages has left tens of thousands of people without any AC. And we know at least one person died because of this, and multiple people, they've gone to the hospital for heat-related injuries and illnesses. Health officials say that cities are now getting the worst of it.
You also have this effect, what's called a heat island in an urban dense area, which is you have a lot of concrete and asphalt, which absorbs a lot of heat and then releases it at night. And so it's difficult to cool down at night.
Well, we know cities like Chicago, Pittsburgh, and New York City all hit triple-digit numbers. Wow. Well, Dr. Garza, who you just heard from, says that people cannot recover from heat if they can't cool down at night. Without that relief, heat illnesses, it can build up in people's bodies over time. Well, today will mark 5 straight days of extreme heat for the areas trapped inside that heat dome. Meanwhile, ERCOT says that this summer could be one of the most demanding for the grid. They expect to see a new record set for demand as more and more people continue to move to Texas. Well, the exact number that they predict is 87.5 gigawatts. That would surpass the record set back in August 2023 of 85 gigawatts. That's when I first moved here, and it was too hot then. Well, ERCOT says that the biggest challenges come not from the day, but rather as night falls.
The tightest time is not during the afternoon peak demand when all the air conditioning is running, but it's in the evening when loads are still high, but the sun goes down, and so we have less solar generation available.
A growing number of energy-reliant data centers and manufacturing plants here in Texas also contribute to the high demand forecast. Now, Whitney, one thing for certain, for sure, is that is very true. When it is hot at night, you can't go to sleep. You will toss, turn, and do the most.
No, it's miserable. Even up in the mountains when it's peak heat of summer. I've been in places that there wasn't an AC and was up all night, just bothered, and they're having temperatures surging into the 90s and then, around 80 at night and not able to cool down whatsoever. If you're not familiar with a lot of the states in the north, they don't have air conditioners. And so New York City, Boston, some of those areas in the Northeast right now, those people don't have an AC. They cannot cool down. That's just miserable, certainly thinking about them. Speaking of hot and humid, we are this morning. We've been sitting at around 99% humidity, so upper 90s. That is just very heavy air is what people usually call it. Sticky air this morning, 73 degrees. Winds are light this morning as well, but I just checked fog tracker. It doesn't look like any's forming. Now we are going to have a little bit more cloud cover in place for today, so that's nice. At least the sun won't be beating down all day on us as temperatures do rise here shortly once the sun does come up. 72 Temple Marlin right now and very, very humid, like I said. Mostly cloudy, 72 Gatesville, 73 over in Hearn is what we're waking up to. Some monsoonal moisture. They've been having quite a bit of flooding out in eastern New Mexico over the past few days, headed into the Panhandle right now, as well as some onshore flow. Sea breeze thunderstorms. We're going to see that once again today. We're kind of stuck in this pattern right now where we see storms right around this time of day coming onshore near the Houston metro and surrounding areas. Eventually, that's the same activity that will creep up into our counties later this afternoon. As you can see, none of our counties are getting rainfall early this morning. That chance does not start until noon, and for most of our counties, for central Texas, I-35 corridor included, it's going to be more like mid-afternoon afternoon when that rain chance does start. How's it going to feel this afternoon? Not only muggy, but hot once again, very similar to yesterday. We'll be sitting around 90 degrees, of course, unless it's raining at your house at this time. I hope it is at mine. Otherwise, it is going to feel like middle 90s, 95 Waco later this afternoon. Show you what models are showing me in terms of who potentially is getting the rainfall. I'm going to start this time out at noon. You can see potentially a couple of isolated thunderstorms popping up well east of I-35, more like I-45 in the Brazos Valley. Things are going to start to peak mid to late afternoon, right around daytime max heating. When we're sitting in the upper 80s near 90 degrees, you could see potentially a couple of hot spots of rain thunderstorm activity still present on radar and creeping closer to I-35 in our central counties. That will be about 4 or 5 o'clock, very similar to what we saw yesterday. And yes, it did end up raining. It poured at my house for about 30 minutes, actually. I'm hoping that happens again. Likely it does for a few folks. I'm putting it at about 30%. It was actually only at about 10-20% yesterday. So today is our best chance for more scattered storms versus the isolated storm or two. We head on into tomorrow. Wake up in the 70s, humid once again, end up around 90 once again tomorrow afternoon. We are going to have isolated to scattered thunderstorms creeping up towards our central counties again. So very similar to what we've seen the past 2 days is what we're going to see today. Tomorrow, before we finally dry out. Rain chances will end as we approach Friday and the weekend. Maybe 1 or 2 storms Friday, but I think that ends up being more like sunny skies by then. Definitely going to be drying out for the weekend, by the way. So scattered storms possible this afternoon. Isolated storms will be possible tomorrow, especially in the Brazos Valley. We will dry out and warm up even more after that. Last weekend of June, first couple of days of July, looking to be very, very hot. I am really hoping, Micah, that for 4th of July, maybe we'll just get a cold front.
Hoping too, because you know a lot of people going to show up to that parade in downtown Belton. Thank you so much, Whitney. Well, remember that you can find our full forecast all morning long. All you have to do is download the free KCEN 6 Plus streaming app on your TV. Start watching for free.